Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man. I'm going to take a quick video for you on this old Singer 66 class. No reverse. It's kind of an oldie. Whenever I get these, first thing I got to figure out, is the motor going to work? And almost always the answer is yes. Sometimes it takes a little bit more, working with it, getting it going. And I've been doing this for years, and I just figure everybody knows how to do this, but maybe you don't. This is one of those deals that you get taught back in the early days. It's one of those little tricks that you learn, and it works. So this motor, it's got one of the little knee controls on the side, a little knee bar, and it's kind of clunky, kind of funky, but it was a treadle converted to an electric. And these motors are good motors. They have real thick windings. They're real big motor brushes. And of course, they're the ones that have the wick work down in here. And the wick, back in the day, they put the grease in it, the petroleum jelly, whatever you want to put on there, but it would harden up in here. And of course, it'd just be a plug then and be no oil on the bearings whatsoever. So what you'd have to do, like I told you in other videos, is get like a size 18 needle, and that felt work, it's down in here. That's hard. It's not felt anymore. It's not an oil reservoir. It's a plug. So you have to penetrate it. You take the needle, you put it down in there, and you can penetrate it by, puncturing it a bunch of times. But I get down in like the center of it, and I make a cone out of it so the modern oil will flow down to it. I mean, when they did this originally, it was a good deal, but it's outgrown its usefulness. And you have one of these on each end. So I do the one down on this end, do the one on this end, and I get that cone, and I take my extended spout needle oiler, put a couple drops of oil. I've already oiled it. I don't over oil it now and get it all smoky. Put a couple drops down there, and you'll put it in those holes, and you'll notice that when you give it the gas, it doesn't want to go. Like, well, you got to get that oil circulated down there on those bearings. So here's the trick. You get your handy little, let's get some room here. Get your handy little drill, and this will go right in to the chuck. You put it in the chuck, you tighten her down, and of course it's running forward, not reverse, and you spin it. You spin the daylights out of it, because before it wouldn't even turn, it was locked up. You get that oil circulating on both ends, and then as it's running, you put a drop of oil on each end, and you'll watch the oil bubble. You'll see it bubbling up, bubbling up. You'll know it's circulating. And you get it on that front bearing and the other side bearing, front bearing, back bearing, whichever one it is. You get it spinning. So I left out taking off the pulley. The pulley's on there. There's a hole, goes all the way through. Your pulley is like so, and it's Bakelite. It's very fragile. Don't break it. See, there's your hole right there. There's a hole going through, and then you have a screw that goes completely. It's not a set screw. It's a through screw. It goes all the way through to either side. So you get it all oiled up, get it speeded up, and you run it, and you run it, and you run it, and you get it. Make sure it doesn't stop when you have pressure on it. If you have pressure on your your knee press, rather, whatever you want to call the crazy thing, when you put your pressure on that, and if the motor doesn't take off and go, now you see it's running like a brand new one. We're working on it for about a half an hour, but it's better than taking an original perfect motor and chuck it in the trash. It's worth the time. So you run it. If it goes real slow, as long as it's turning, you're good. If it stops, let off the gas. Don't give it any power if it stops. Then spin it some more with your drill. Put a drop of oil in there. And then after a while, what you'll have is an old motor that runs like a house of fire. You have to be very patient with these old motors, and don't sit down and have it under load and have the belt on and have everything and then start making it labor. It'll just fry the motor completely out, and then you're done. So be patient with it. Oil it, spin it with a drill. Of course, take this off, of course. Now I'll put this back on, and I'll put the belt on, and I'll make the video that I was going to make when I found out that this little guy, this motor on it, was in need of some attention. So That's how you recondition, renew, so to speak, an old motor that's just dead and it wouldn't even turn. You just got to coax it, oil it, coax it, oil it. You want to get that high pitch sound. That's when you know your motor is performing optimally. I put new motor brushes in it way back, but it's been sitting for a long, long time. When they've been sitting, that's what happens. They get dry as a bone and they have to be oiled. Do it in that fashion, you'll have a happy ending. Be patient. Thanks.